The city of Taembria is perched on the western coast of Galantor, a crescent-shaped mass of clumped buildings downturned on the promontory of a cliff's edge. Overlooking a bay far below, shared with a northern neighbor across the sea, this coastal city knows the fury of its waters and weathers seasons of rain and snow alike, a hot and humid summer and a healthy growing season. The Crescent City is separated into 3 distinct pieces that grow from the water's edge on the western and eastern shores and travel up the sheer cliffs until a wall divides the hive-like city. The western edge of the Crescent, the Mortals District, grows from sparse homes and buildings into a proper busy town at its centers. The shimmering wall towering above is a constant reminder that not all is afforded to the humans, halflings, and half-elves here. The Tieflings keep the best for themselves within the enchanted wall that gleams with refraction of the sun, a mirror's edge of their own district atop its central peak. The easternmost side is known as the Port District. The inner coastal city, an edge of a stubby peninsula in which this city resides upon, has made this lowland area the primary hub for shipbuilding and seafaring. The vicious tide here sees the lower docks flooded over twice daily, leaving the construction to primarily be built upon wooden stilts. Some call it the slums, others call it the sticks, but it's home to a hardy folk used to living in cramped conditions. This district is lively and crass, filled with hawking stores, fishermen, sailors, and some of the finest, if perhaps unregulated, food and goods in the region. Finally, the northern central district, nestled in by the gleam of that shimmering wall atop the zenith of the Grand Hill, District of the Nines, the industrial and noble epicenter of sociability and industry alike. Gothic steep-gabled buildings crafted with the finest black iron stand shoulder to shoulder, looking down upon the cobbled street with near disdain. Cathedrals, a coliseum, theaters, and factories dominate blocks where the families have deemed it fit. The sky docks pierce the cliff's edge with the presence of flying ships, and the gigantic green square in the center is befitted with a blackened ziggurat that peers into a craggy cleft at its most central point. Overlooking it all is the empty throne. The tall castle nearly pierces the sky, its bleak and empty windows bereft of life and light. Vizier Terrorcry's stake has claimed many families that attempted to abscond with it since. None have lived long with the treacherous, devil-like mantle of that place. Vesar, we begin our adventure with you. Peering into the industrial district, this hubbub of work. You are in your small townhouse, listening to the tinging of a hammer from the elderly tinker upstairs. A small black and blue orb, the size of your fist, given to you by Priestess Xylith, has been glowing for nearly 2 hours. She always makes you wait. You hear the static ripple of invisibility dropping when she finally makes herself known. Tall, amethyst skin, black robes, silver rings, a ponytail of obsidian hair taut, her fingers rapping against the black shaft of a long staff. Her lips are thin and austere. You figure the poor woman hasn't smiled once in her life. Would you like to describe yourself for us?
Sure. Standing in his small townhome, a roughly 6 foot tall male drow with this bleach white long hair, a cloak around his shoulders of like a dark navy blue color, this dark gray steel breastplate, and a bunch of other like leathers on him. No visible weapons at the moment.
Xylith leans forward on her staff. Do you ever take your armor off?
I can't say I do.
Figured as much. So stiff.
They always plan on making me wait this long.
Yes, probably. You should know your place by now. Vesar? At best, you're my plaything. But today I do have business. More pressing than you. I have a job for you.
Please do explain.
Oh. We've had some problems with a priest in the Underdark. You might know him. Kind of similar to you. Slimy. Krobadon the Rotting. You do not know Krobadon the Rotting.
I do not know him.
But Zayla leans forward on her staff again, and she says, "If you would be so kind to just travel down and speak with him. Tell him to cease kidnapping people and sacrificing them for the time being, as he's drawing too much attention. That would be greatly appreciated by our queen."
As you wish.
Oh. And one more thing. We've caught wind of a book called... Well, what it's called isn't of any matter. At any rate, a friend of yours. He seems to have this book. His name is Stepan. I need you to...
What would you like me to do?
I need you to steal it from him. For me.
It will be done.
Well, that wasn't so hard. I hope we can keep future visits to be this brief.
As do I.
As she turns to leave, she opens the door with a squeak and looks over her shoulder at you before putting the invisibility spell back on. And she says, "If you fail, think of your time with Krobadon as an internship. I would love to give your pact to the ooze god." And without another word, she leaves.
I'll look at the... Am I still holding like an orb in my hand, or...?
Yeah.
I'll just slam it down on the table.
Nice. All right. Yeah, you're welcome to do with it as you please. Leon, would you like to describe your character?
Yeah, I just did. You sprung that on me, so I just did a little right thing to describe him. So he's got pale skin, showing no signs of blood or warmth beneath it. White hair, graying in parts. The only parts of which that are visible are which fall out of his always drawn hood. And other than that, it's pure black leathers. No cloak, because that's impractical. And
So you've watched Incredibles?
Yep. Well, yeah, that's not the reason. Cloaks are just always a mess. I've watched Game of Thrones. Explain it there.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's it. Just a very dark, gray character.
Okay.
I will say that one thing. Sorry, what is Bryce's character's name?
Stepan.
Stepan. I will say that Stepan would probably know a brighter tone to my color, to my skin color, but it's deteriorated to what it is in recent times.
Okay. So Bryce, if you want to just keep that in mind.
Will do.
Rowan Witherleaf. You are in the Slushway Canal, down in the lagoons beneath the Styx. During low tide, the water allows for earthen pockets beneath the city to empty out. The silt threatens to sink you deeper than comfortable with every step, and the smell of fish is nearly nauseating. But the dark caverns, while wildly disorienting with their pathways, are great for subterfuge and skullduggery. Zeb is a pale-skinned man in heavy black wool robes. He rests upon an overturned barrel and has a strange leather-bound satchel wrapped around him. It clinks as he moves uncomfortably, shifting strangely. His hood is drawn over his gaunt chin with greasy locks of hair dangling out. So nearly a mirror image of yourself, perhaps, without the leather. A little bit grosser, though, and definitely stinky. So, Rowan, you have come to request something from Zeb.
Mm-hmm.
He tilts his head to the side, but he doesn't really speak for a moment.
I'll say somewhat ashamed of myself. I'll need another vial. The last one broke. Nasty business.
That's unlike you.
Not really. You know how I came to be to my current afflicted state?
I
Because of a
know
fall.
how you came to be the way you are, but you're usually so careful.
Well, running through the alleyways does have its perils, and sometimes one misplaced foot and the vial breaks.
That's fair, I suppose. Well, the stuff this is made from doesn't grow on trees. He fishes in his satchel, and he pulls out a vial, and he hands it to you. But before you can grab it, he says, "Be more careful. I won't be around for a couple of weeks."
Couple of weeks? Where are you going? You've never left this city.
I'll still be in the city. Just not available to cater to you and your ailment.
That's regrettable. Well, I'll portion it wisely then.
See that you
I grab
do.
it.
Okay. You snatch it before he can be any more of a nuisance to you. And you make your way out. So, Bryce,
Yes.
could you describe your character for us?
Yes. I am a human with medium hair, maybe cut a little bit short on the sides, wearing a trim, form-fitting servant's outfit of sorts, buttons up the middle, decent colors. Looks like it came from some place with money, and keeping a fairly large number of possessions on my person. A few books are present, a few pouches as well. A lot of scribbled notes kind of sticking out the belt around the waist in different areas, and decent amount of wear on my face. Stepan is 45 and is not a native to the city.
Very well. Stepan, you stand in an elegant foyer of the Vatiri family main house. You know this to be in sort of north central of the Nines, the district for the nobles. Marble statues of tieflings flank the long black and gold stone floor before you. A double arch staircase wraps itself up several stories in height to a landing far above. A monstrous chandelier splayed out in a sunburst of light and black iron fixtures casts magical light in dazzling arrays around you. Lilith, the matron of study for the Guilds of Magic, squints at you with gray clouded eyes. She's the oldest tiefling you have ever seen. But when she shifts her golden-rimmed glasses back on her face, her eyes are suddenly sharp and clear. She looks at you and says, "Stand up straight."
Sorry. Yes, Lilith.
What have you brought me?
I look around my waist, kind of forgetful. I must have been here to bring you something.
You had mentioned it was in your message. It was a vial?
Oh, yes. Scrambling through my pouches, I find a vial of some greenish, mucky liquid.
Mm-hmm. Do you
Here you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Where did you get this? It's a most peculiar vintage. Thick. Viscous.
Yes, well, thankfully I have many contacts around town, but I think it's best to keep them safe, and perhaps if it's quite all right with you, that's enough information.
I see. I do like a good mystery. You are shrouded in them. Someday, you'll have to tell me about yourself. Perhaps I can hold this information hostage once I find out this vial.
Yes, if you find out more about that vial, I'm curious as well. They didn't have much to say.
Very good. We'll meet over tea. You can tell me
Sure,
your
sounds
story.
good.
Yes, it does sound good.
I'll
Thank
bring
you.
the tea.
Oh, very well. You're so courteous. All right. Well, be on your way.
Yes, Lilith.
Bryce. Make a perception check for me.
It's a 18.
18. As you're turning to leave this large, elegant vestibule, you hear something from far above up on the balcony. It sounds like the clatter of metal on a very fine wood. And as you glance up, you see virtue name Entropy. Sometimes tieflings go by these virtue names. You know this to be the enforcer of the Vitiri family. A tiefling who is known for her ruthlessness and brutality in dealing with problems for this family, the family that you serve. You make your way out without confronting her. She doesn't seem to move, but you know that she was listening.
Am I scared of virtue name Entropy?
You're not scared of her, but you're cautious.
Okay.
She's the hand of the head of the house, which is not Lilith. Lilith is an elder, and she has a lot of power, but she's not anything like the head of the family.
Okay, noted.
Okay. But you would know that anything that Entropy hears goes straight to the heads of the family, if she deems it pertinent. All right. Scott.
Yep.
Would you like to describe your character?
Sure. So, I am super hot. Like, I am really sexy, and
It's true.
So yeah, I am like what every woman's dating profile describes as the perfect man: 6 foot, tan, kind of long hair but not too long, beard. Everything's like really nice and fitted. But they're like bright colors. I look super cool. I got this big dumb poofy hat, and yeah, I'm just hot. Like I make Jason Momoa look like a anteater. He looks ugly as shit next to me.
Okay, so essentially, we should stop describing your character so that all of our female listeners can just imagine the hottest man on earth.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Fair enough.
He looks like me.
Okay, perfect. I'll put a picture of you in for the YouTube link. Beautiful Carl. Beautiful Carl Platinum. Is that how I should say your name?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You sit in an antechamber upon a leather-clad, high-backed chair. Other assorted folk surround you. A tall elven woman is singing some sort of dirge. A gnomish man is fiddling in a seat across from you with oil-laden juggling pins. Some attractive, yet bored-looking humans huddle in the back. The richly adorned wooden door swings open silently, allowing a handsome tiefling with a dazzling smile to breeze through the room. Do you know who this tiefling is, Scott?
I assume so.
You hear the person from the room say, "Thank you for your time, Cody Divine. The pleasure is all mine." That comes from...
I get visibly angry.
Oh, well, just wait. He
Eh.
swells his chest and bows down to the floor, swiping his equally large feathered cap deftly across the ground. And he does so right in front of you, putting his ass in your face. He squeaks out a fart. Without another word, he disappears from the room, turning on his heels, and he flashes you a toothy yet hateful grin.
I'll just sit there and mutter to myself, I hate him so much. I fucking hate him. Or fudging. I fudging hate his freaking fudging face.
You can curse, Scott. It's okay.
Oh. Alright.
Beautiful Carl, you are called into the study next by no other than Vasago Krasian, consort and husband to Phalara Crassian, the head of the Crassian noble family. One of the 9.
People too?
What's that?
Do I know these people too?
You don't know these 2 people. So this is a matriarchal society, so
Okay.
the heads of the families are typically female tieflings because they're all devil descendants.
Yeah.
This is one of their husbands or consorts. So
All right.
his name is Vasago. You don't know them, but you would be somewhat humbled in their presence. It'd be like meeting a president or like, I don't know, a rock star, I guess, but not quite. Someone important. Someone that you don't want to mess
All right,
with. Someone with a lot of power.
I just want to make sure I didn't know, like personally know them. I forget everyone's name already, so.
That's okay. There's a lot of names. So, he is a tall tiefling dressed casually with tall boots and a mostly open tunic. His lean figure and devilish smile, dark eyes, and confidence eclipse his surroundings, so I'm not going to bother describing them, but they draw you in. Close the door behind you, Mr. Platinum.
Shut it.
Okay. So, we have an opening, as I'm sure you have heard. There is our performer, how do I put it? Expired? Retired? He's gone. The job could be yours. And he looks you up and down. His eyes just roll down you and up you.
All right. I guess I'll ask, well, what are you willing to pay? My services aren't free.
He reaches into a pocket, deep into a pocket, and he pulls out a wooden pin with his family crest on it. It's a fire with a curtain over top. This pin, should you obtain it, will get you free access into the Scarlet Square. You could be an entertainer at the Colosseum or the theater. Perhaps you could headline for our devilish cousins on Broker Day.
All right, and I'll go, okay, oh, this could be my big break, the one I've been looking for.
Oh, Carl, this is more than you've been looking for. This is your fortune, your fate.
Well, I'll gladly do your job for that pin.
Very well. It is a simple test, really. Could be a trifle for someone such as you. He sort of picks at his fingernails, looking away. I want you to seduce the head of a house. Anyone. One of the 9. Not my own.
Oh, that shouldn't be a problem. I attract anyone from the most beautiful models of the city to the pigs and the dogs.
Good to know. So, simply seduce one. Let us know. Bring proof. And one last thing before you go. You are willing to seduce, but are you willing to go farther?
Always ready to get my flute soaked.
I assume you mean use a dagger to kill someone. That is kind of what I'm implying here.
That's what it's called in the biz. You wouldn't get it.
No, of course. We'll talk about your flute later, should you be successful. Now, send the next in.
Sure. Before I go, could I have my constituent help me burr him?
Sure, if you think you need another man to help you do the job.
He makes me look more beautiful than I actually am.
Ah, the fugly friend.
Yes. Yes, he's ugly, disgusting, makes me barf sometimes, but don't tell him that.
Oh, your secret is safe with me, my friend. I like you.
I like you too, but most people like me anyway.
Well, of course. They like to be
I'm the
adorned
best.
by the finer things. Let me say one thing. Since this conversation has gone so well, Cody Divine, he has caught my wife's attention. It will be hard pressed to impress her. You should do this before him.
You want me to seduce your wife?
No, I said not my wife.
Oh.
Beauty and not so much brain, yes?
Selective hearing.
Yes, go with that. Send the next in.
I can do that. Anything to fuck over Cody Divine is for me. I'll do that for free.
good luck. And he winks at you.
Yeah, I'll send the other one in. I'll wink back too.
Okay.
With both my eyes. I'll blink.
Nice. Make a charisma check.
Sure. Flat charisma?
Just flat charisma. You can add your proficiency as well. So it's basically like a persuasion check or...
Okay, so that'd be 15 and... Oh god, I haven't looked at this sheet in so long.
Oh god, I have to make a charisma check. I'm a bard.
19.
19. All right. Despite you literally blinking at him, he then winks with the other eye and sort of quizzically looks away and shakes his head. Seems you left a good impression.
I dance out sexily and send the next person in.
All I can imagine is the Will Arnett doing the chicken from Arrested Development.
Yeah.
All right. Soya, would you like to describe Burim?
Sure. So Burham is about 6'6". He's got white shoulder-length hair despite his relatively young-ish age of 35. He's got 5 o'clock shadow of a beard. You know, it's not trimmed, but I should say it's not like thick, but it's not trimmed. Somewhere in the middle there. He's usually adorned in his shiny, incredibly sturdy plate mail. He's got pouches strapped about it for various herbs and supplies for some spell casting. And he has a shield and a long sword strapped to his back. You wouldn't know by looking at him unless you get close enough, but he has yellow eyes, and if you see him smile, you could see that he filed down his orcish fangs to maintain his humanoid appearance.
Very well. So, Burim, you stand in an unassuming drawing room upon a wooden floor. The Hunter's Enclave never seemed one for pomp that would inevitably be ruined by blood or bile. Athena Thalazar sits behind a wide oak desk, absent-mindedly picking at the hilt of a rapier that is beside a wooden coffer. Stout and stern, Athena has never cracked a joke in your presence. Today would be no different. The Tiefling woman shoves the box toward you across her desk with a scrape. If you're prepared for the job, you'll need a team for this. I'd recommend calling in any favors you can muster as well. The Crassians are paying well to stock their Colosseum, and you're the only one that makes sense for this. Are you up for it, Burim?
When have I ever turned down a job?
Well, this is probably the one I wouldn't be offended if you did turn it down.
What do you have before I say yes, then?
Do you know what a death tyrant is?
A death tyrant? Can I make a history check or some form of check to see if I do?
Sure. History, Arcana.
Nothing that I'm good in, huh?
And if you fail at that, you can make a strength check and bash your head off the table a few times. See if it jogs any juju's loose.
A 2 for history.
Burim, you tell Athena what you know about death tyrants.
I mean, what are they? Giant creatures, almost vaguely humanoid, swords in 4 different hands.
Nothing like that, I'm afraid.
Oh. Alright, well, what are they like?
Well, you know what a beholder is?
I do. Eye stalks everywhere, one giant eye, big gaping mouth.
Yeah.
Lots of teeth.
It's that, but it's imagined itself dead and become it.
Oh my god. And you're going to put people in the Colosseum against this?
I don't know what the Crashens have planned for it. All I know is that they've tasked me with getting it.
I mean, it seems foolhardy. I mean, with all those eye stalks, somebody in the spectator seats can easily get clipped by a disintegration ray.
Yeah, but not the nobles. That's all they really give a damn about.
Oh my
You
God,
up for the
brutal.
challenge?
Well, I'm allowed a team. What's the pay look like?
Well, this'll just wet your whistle. She opens the coffer on the desk. There is 1,000 gold in it, a superior healing potion, and a peculiar lightning rod.
Never seen one of these. What's this? Point at the lightning rod.
We're hopeful that it will absorb one of the eye stalk beams. We're not sure, really.
Who worked on it?
Oh, well. Your mentor, of course.
Well, that's as good a word of any for mine. I mean, he seems to know what he's doing. He knows the right herbs and incantations to do it. I mean, honestly.
Rassamund assured me that it would work, and be honest. When I suggested you, someone so close to him, he didn't flinch too much. I think he's telling the truth.
Sounds about right then. Okay.
If you do this, we might be able to knock one of the lower families out. If we can get our hooks into the nines, it's a whole new game for us.
I just hope it benefits the kind people of this town out here in the slums.
I tell you what, Burham. Whatever you find in that lair, you keep.
Alright, mark the location on my map here.
Pulls out her Pip-Boy and bloop. No, she does pull a map out, though, and she hands it to you. She says, you're going to have to go down the webway. I recommend you taking a guide that knows the Underdark.
Anybody you might know offhand?
We have a scout. Vesar? I don't know if you've worked with him before.
I know him well.
That's super convenient.
Yeah. Should be easy enough to convince him.
Excellent.
Alright, I better go visit Tariel and see if she can give me something for the journey here.
That'd be wise. If you have any favors to call in, this is the time to do it. It's going to be a bit of a journey down there, too.
Quite right, quite right. Well, suppose that'll be it then. I extend my gloved hand to her.
She looks at it, looks at you, raises an eyebrow, spits in her hand and claps your forearm.
Right. I sometimes forget the formalities of this guild.
I don't want to see you until you're drenched in Death Tyrant guts. Oh, but don't kill it. Sorry.
I was about to say, I imagine they want it just incapacitated.
Yeah. Good luck.
Rightly so.
All right.
I exit.
Yeah, she shuffles you out. Burham. You stand in the second level of the Hunter's Enclave, which is also in the Northern Districts. This is in the industrial plazas. So this is along sort of the northwest edge of town. You are within the Shimmering Wall. If you were to look out some of the windows, you would note that the streets are finely cobbled. They're quiet. Occasionally you'll see a black armored knight, a dreadnought, walk by. But the patrols are sparse here. They aren't worried about much. You know that there is sort of a rush hour with people coming and going from the industrial areas, but for the most part, it's a fine afternoon. And you've got a fat purse, and you need to gather your friends.
Well, since I'm already in the Northern District, let me head to Vizar's home.
Okay.
Just want to make sure I'm not looking at the map, making sure I'm not skipping over any obvious waypoints here.
No, that's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
It only takes you about 20 minutes to walk to Vizar's from the Hunter's Enclave. Now, Vizar's home is nestled beneath the Shimmering Wall. Give me a moment. I'm orienting myself for the first time here. Near Center City, along the interior of the Shimmering Wall, a quaint and quiet workshop harbors a basement apartment for the hunter, Vesar Halath. An old gnomish tinkerer by the name of Altor Copperhand rents it out to the Hunter's Enclave scout, and he keeps the property homely despite its location in the industrial sector. Ferns, enjoying the shade under a wide awning of wood-framed shop, overlook the slight stone steps leading down into the sub-basement of the steading. A quiet, well-oiled metal door glides effortlessly open into a clean entryway, where Vesar is, unless, Nick, you don't want to be there.
I'd still be in there.
I just knock on the door.
Absolutely.
I'll get up, open the door.
Ah, Fasar, just the man I'm looking for.
Alright.
Well, I know you know that I wouldn't visit just on kind nature or anything like that. I'll get right to business here. We've got a hell of a task ahead of us.
Should I come in, take a seat, explain, please?
I come in, I put the chest on the ground, open it up. So, need to get a team. Everybody will get an equal share. I'm not going to hoard 50% or anything like that. Everybody has equal risk, equal reward. There's this item here. It's made to absorb something terrible. We'll get there in a moment. And a big potion of healing that we'll probably need. You familiar with beholders?
I've seen my fair share.
Well, imagine one of them dead, or almost undead. We're going after one for the Krassian family.
Interesting.
Yes, very.
You wish to hunt it down, or...
Yep, we need to bring it to the point that it's barely alive. We're gonna take it back to the Colosseum, and that's it. I'm sure there'll be more reward than this chest. This is just the incentive.
Well, I believe I have some business in the Underdark. I could assist. Sure.
Very good. This it's going to be one hell of a fight. So, as I was cautioned, if you have any favors to call in with people you know, get some stronger potions and other things that can aid us, might be worthwhile. But need to go out, find beautiful Carl. Need to go talk to Thrasimund. I don't know if you've ever met him before, but he's the one that made this rod, which
You're
should...
bringing Carl again.
I mean, I bring him everywhere. He's my companion. If nothing else, just the music alone. My God, it's inspiring. Every time he plays a note, I just feel that I just have a better chance of hitting my enemy or saving myself from disaster. You might even say I've been inspired bardically in his presence.
I, for one, can't stand his singing.
It's not the
Flashy
singing.
man he is.
It's more the music than the singing itself. But I mean, my God, if you looked upon that face, that chiseled jaw, it's his face is all jaw. It's incredible.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have.
Yeah.
Wow. Enamored. I mean, just truly the specimen of masculinity if I've ever seen such a thing. Anyway,
Well,
let me head out to Thrasimund's house.
All right.
We'll collect you on the way out. If you can, why don't we plan to meet at the Temple of the Morning Sun?
Sure. That works with me. I have a few things I'd like to get done beforehand.
Sounds good. If you know of anybody else that you think can aid us in this, bring them along. We'll need all the help we can get.
Let's see who I can grab.
Very good. And thank you. I couldn't do this without you. I know we've shared somewhat of a spirited competition among the two of us for who can get the bigger monster and all that once in a while, but you're a good friend.
Of course. As are you.
Thank you.
All right. So the two of you depart from Vesar's home. What are the rest of you doing? We can sort of assume that rumor has spread through the Hunter's Enclave that Burham has been given a big contract. This news would reach you pretty quickly. And I imagine that a lot of the people in the guild, a lot of the guildsmen, would be seeking Burham out and hounding him to try and get sent along with him for such a prestigious thing. This is a big deal. Like this is a ticket to get an instant promotion. This is become, a veteran in the guild overnight or die horrifically. So a large mantle has been placed upon Burham. And the three of you have definitely heard of it. And the three of you also know that he's likely to request your presence because of your relationship with him. Would any of you seek him out?
I'll probably just I don't know, stay put. I'm assuming he'll come pick me up at some point. I have one question. Who am I seducing again? I forget the name.
He didn't give you a name. He just said the head of a family. So there's, but not his wife. So there are eight.
No, I need to neutralize Cody.
There are 8 individuals. Well, I guess you could just kill Cody Divine if your goal was just to beat Cody Divine. But there are 8 individuals that you could seduce. Most of them are women. There are a couple men. I'll leave it up to you.
Got it.
We can discuss this, during a downtime.
Yeah. No, I was writing it down. I was like, did I get the name or am I like stupid or what?
No, you're good.
All right, cool.
All right.
I would imagine that after I come back from Zeb, I just go right back to Stepan and see how he fared. If he managed to get the vial analyzed, if it's in the works.
Okay. Where would you
So
two
I'm not
meet?
sure where. Yeah, where would he be? Like School of Illusion or something?
Either that or at the Veteri State during the days when I don't have another job to do or something like that.
In between those 2 locations would be the Green. There's a courtyard that's in the middle of the Nobles, the Nines district, where you could meet.
If we said that we would meet there, then Rowan headed there for sure. Yeah. Otherwise, probably School of Illusion because he wants to avoid the noble families.
Okay.
So the Greens.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. I'm pretty familiar with both those places, so happy to meet there.
Okay. So, Bryce, you in particular have an interesting relationship with the Greens. There is a ziggurat that is stationed above this chasm that looks way down into the Underdark, essentially. Now, this is run by the Veteri family, the family that you serve. They are charged with controlling this ziggurat and this schism. There's a large crystal down below, and you are aware of it. But it is what opens up on Broker's Day when the moon aligns with it once a year. When that happens, a portal to the Hells opens up, and there's this large festival where there's dealings and contracts brokered, and it's known as Broker's Day. So you are very, very familiar with the Green. You know where the schism is, you know where the bridges are, you know every valley and pasture in this. It's almost a square mile, right in the dead center of the Nobles District. So there's lots of crowds, there's lots of people around. It's a nice, warm fall day. And let's assume that you have a favorite spot. You also know that in the ziggurat, and you know who the ziggurat is run by, the priest Crenshaw. You know that in the base of the ziggurat, there is a path that leads to a thing called the Wellway, which leads down to the Webway. All the places in the Underdark are known as the Ways. And you know how to get your party down into the Underdark. So where would you like to meet in the Green?
Well, there's a shady side, always, and that's usually where I like to start. So depending on what day it is, I'll make my way over to the shady side, just for a little bit of ample coverage to start.
Yeah.
Not to draw too much extra attention.
Sure. Rowan, give me a investigation or survival check.
+1. Okay. 17.
17. It does not take you long.
Investigation.
Okay. It does not take you long to find your cohort. And you simply approach him from whatever way that you want. You tell me, are you Are you cautious? Are you sneaky? Are you, rushing up to him, beaming with energy?
I just walk over in the same fashion as he did, kind of drawing no attention. I try to be inconspicuous.
Okay.
And I'm... Rowan knows that if you act strangely and try to be inconspicuous, you'll draw much more attention than just being casual. So I walk over to him, give him a handshake, and ask, so, any luck? Is my vial being analyzed?
Well, actually, earlier today I did hand it over
Great.
to Lilith. Yeah, she's the matron of study. She's taking a look at it now.
This might be my best shot at curing myself. How long do you think until she reports?
I'm not sure. I can follow up perhaps tomorrow morning, if that's all right. I did want to mention one other thing. One of the enforcers did see the exchange. I don't think there's anything to worry about, but we were seen.
I'll make a mental note of that. We don't need too many eyes on this, but I'm not withering that quickly yet. We have some time, so let's just take it at a cool pace.
Your health looks good today, Rowan. It's good to see you in good spirits.
Yeah, I had a dosage recently. Indulged in one of the vials. I have to, and I grabbed the one that I put in my pack somewhere. I have to bring this over to my stash on the other side of town. What have you got going on today?
Well, I'm afraid that was it to start off with. Gonna go check on a few of my locations around town and looking for new jobs, actually.
Trying to keep out of danger.
So much as the Vitaries let my leash out, yes.
Well, I don't have any contracts or anything going on at the moment. I can keep you company if you want to.
Sure, yes, that'd be great. Anywhere
Gotta
but
look
the
out for
Vitari
you.
State today.
You're my only ticket into the Vitari family, so anything happens to you, I'm out of luck.
Yeah, well, thanks for using me. Appreciate it.
Hey, don't think of it as using. It's just my only shot at redemption here.
Just
I
pragmatism.
get it. I understand. It's my pleasure.
All right.
We take care of each other.
As best we can.
So, the two of you are heading somewhere together?
I'm just following him around.
Let's
I'm trying
go.
to make sure he doesn't die.
Yeah, let's go check on your stash, Leon.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. What is that district called? It's
The Mortals district?
Yeah, it probably is, right? It's the Mortals
It's the
district.
the humans.
So it's very close to the Temple of the Morning Sun.
Yes, it's the western side.
Mhm.
So that's a decent clip. Give me a survival check, Leon. Or Stepan. Whichever of you is leading
I
the
already
way.
rolled. I'll give it to... I guess I'm leading if I'm leading us to the place. So
Whoever's
it's
leading.
the survival.
Yeah.
4.
Okay. Roll a d12 for me.
One.
Okay. You are walking to the south. You're passing through the walls between so the Shimmering Wall has a bunch of gates. You can see them on the map if you'd like to look. There are guards stationed there, but this is not like an exterior city wall. They allow you to walk through freely, and immediately the traffic changes. So in the Nines, you have a vast amount of working tieflings. It's a peculiar brand. It's like they're very high-minded. They're very hoity-toity. They don't really interact as much with people around them. It's a very quiet district, and the cobblestone changes to dirt. The The folks change from quiet to boisterous and raucous. There's an energy to this place. There's inns on every corner. There are carts being pulled, children laughing. There's people running around. The architecture changes from this gothic black iron to rustic wood. And as you're walking down the streets, someone comes out of an inn that's actually on the corner right next to one of the farthest western gates. The tavern is called the Loaded Die. And this human sort of stumbles out, and he's got his hand full of these wooden chips. And his eyes lock on the two of you, and he begins chasing after you. What do you do?
Well, first, I pointed out the price without making too much of a commotion, and then I guess I wouldn't draw my bow, but I keep a I keep a hand on my rapier.
Okay. Hey, fellas. Hey.
What do you want?
Oh, I just had a great day. The best day of cards of my life. Just sharing the wealth. Here you go. And he flicks you a wooden chip. It's a free drink at the Loaded Die Inn.
Right, I catch it out of the air, look at it. Can I inspect it? Can I make an investigation check to see if this is?
Need to. It's a wooden
what
chip.
It seems to be.
It's a wooden chip with a +1 written on it.
I'm a cautious guy. Okay, yeah.
I will say you flip it to the other side, and there's a severed thumb, like wood burnt into it.
Okay, I nod at him.
It's the theme of the bar. If you've ever been in the tavern, you know. Okay. Good day. Estrel's blessings. He claps you on the back, Rowan, and wanders off.
I take my hands off my rapier. Or my hand, rather.
Okay.
Never be too careful, eh?
That's what we call a random table. You guys are going to end up murdering a civilian one of these days.
Stay strapped.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. So the two
Can't
of
be
you
looking too rich around here.
I mean, okay. Anyway, you guys head down to Leon's stash. Burham, Basar, beautiful Carl. Have you guys met up yet?
I already just below past
You can go see Thrasimund if you want. You're not far from him at Vasar's home.
yeah, if I just do a quick stopping over there.
Okay. So Thrasimund's it's in the Mortals district, but it's basically right along the farmlands down in the central pocket. Like the Crescent City sort of arches around it. So as you're approaching Thrasimund's home, it's a beautiful townhouse. It's wooden in construction. It's very quiet here. You see occasional carts being ferried back and forth that are leading to the farmlands, and there's no guards. There's no traffic. The loudness of the Mortals district has been left behind here as you're on the fringe. What would you like to do?
I'll approach the house and give a knock if I don't see him just out in the fields.
Okay. Yeah, you don't see him outside, but you give a knock on the door. It's just everything about Thrasimund's home is plain. It's probably something that you like about him. There's really nothing embellished or gilded. The home is plain. The glass is plain. He does have a very nice garden behind the home. But you give it a loud thunk with your fist, and you hear, "Who is it?"
Oh, no one special. Just kidding. It's Burham.
Get in here, you fuck.
I throw open the door, raucously, slam it shut. So, a dead beholder, huh?
A death tyrant.
Uh-huh.
So Athena gave you the quest.
Indeed, and I open up the chest and I pull out the lightning rod. This, you made it?
Well, I had it commissioned.
About to say, this isn't herbs and simple potions.
No, if you need a poultice when you come back, I'm the man to see, probably. Or perhaps before you go.
I was about to say, I came here mostly for the purpose of getting things beforehand.
Fair enough.
What do you recommend? Still have that poison tattoo on me. Not sure what good that'll do with this one.
Poison? Nah, we need to bolster your spirits for this fight. That's what I'd say. Let me see what I've got in the back. So Thrasimund, if I recall correctly, is a human. And he is larger, more heavyset. You can tell he's been retired for some time. He walks with a little bit of a limp. You know that he doesn't talk about it. He doesn't tell you what happened. But it's a sore subject for him. And he limps into the back of the drawing room and he opens up. There's a large armoire. He pulls it open. Very plain, like everything else, very austere. And he starts rambling through all of these vials. You hear clinking sounds. You hear like rustling of different poultices and other herbs. And as he pulls something out, it's a small leather sack. And he throws it to you over his shoulder. As in there, you should find something that'll help you.
I open it up and I take a peek.
Like this just aroma just knocks you in the face. It's quite pungent.
Oh, sulfur?
Oh, best you don't know, but it'll keep you going. Apply it as soon as you get down on the underdock. It'll only last about 8 hours.
Is it?
Well, bolsters your spirits. The poultice.
Okay. Take your word on it. Any ill effects when it wears off? Just goes its course?
Nope, shouldn't hurt you at all. Just make sure you apply it somewhere on your skin, not on your armor. Won't do you any good.
Just get it right here, right on the neck.
Or wherever you want.
Righto. Well, I spit my hand, hold it out.
Because you've been spending too much time with Athena. He spits in his hand, slaps your forearm.
Devils. Can't get this thing right. You know, forget who likes what these days.
We just like you, Burham.
Feeling's always mutual. Been sort of a father figure for me, you know.
Yeah, let's not get too mushy here, alright?
Oh, alright.
Alright.
Well, you know, gotta go find Carl.
Taking Carl?
Why is this the reaction from everybody today? My God.
I'm just kidding. He'll keep you off your back.
That's the whole thing. I mean, the song just gives you a fighting spirit.
He's got a good look to him, I guess.
Can I make an insight check on that?
Sure.
Ten.
You gather he finds him to be a handsome man, but he doesn't understand the appeal quite for you.
Alright, well, let me get going. The sooner that I face near certain death, the better, I suppose.
Indeed. Burham, watch your back down there.
Yeah, well, you know, taking the team. Hopefully we'll get through in one piece. Should be alright. At least one of us knows how things work down there in the Underdark. It's okay. Taking Fasar with me. He knows it better than anyone I know.
Oh, the drow.
He's been sort of a friendly rival all this time. It's not mutated like you and I, but it's got natural ability.
Just keep your eyes open. Stay on your feet.
Right on. Alright, off I go.
Right. So, Thrasimund is Burham's mentor. He is the reagent master / poison master of the Hunter's Enclave. All right, so you push off, Soya, and I'm gonna fast forward a little bit and say that everyone has sort of gathered in the Mortals District. Now, Burham, you have gathered beautiful Carl. You have gathered Vesar. Rowan and Stepan are together, and they are also in the Mortals District. And as it so happens, you pass very nearly right past each other as 3 of you are heading to the temple, and 2 of you are heading to a stash. And you do see each other on the street.
I'll point out, and I'll say, "Oh my God, to be homeless and that ugly? Ugh."
What's wrong with the skin? It's like prey.
He's not doing the right oil treatments like I do. You know the
Excuse
one
me.
I taught you.
I can hear that.
Oh, speaking a little loud there, huh? I do
Oh,
that.
No, we're not talking about you. We're talking about it.
Yes.
Are you referring?
Carl, your reputation precedes you. I've seen you in
Thank
the
you,
square
thank
quite a
you.
few times.
And you are?
I just
Stepan.
stare at Scott. I don't say anything. I just glare at him.
Don't stare too hard, I might turn to stone.
Oh, funny thing. The 3 of us, we've got something that just might turn you to stone if you've got an acumen for that sort of thing.
I'll tell you, being turned to stone is not funny.
It's true. It's damn near fatal if you don't have the right person with you.
Yep,
Make a
it
nice
is.
statue though, if you know what I mean. Put me in time in the town square.
When Vezar speaks, I probably notice him for the first time, and I say, "Aren't you that drow from the Fighters Guild? I've seen you around. What are you doing with them?"
I've been asked to join them on a certain job. You look familiar as well.
I've had some contracts with the Fighters Guild every now and again, mostly infiltration business.
Filtration. That might help us on the way to navigating to this thing's lair.
This thing.
Well, first I need to know, what kind of acumen do you have? Because this could be certain death for at least one of us. What can you do if push comes to shove? Your back's against the wall. All hope is nearly gone.
I am an experienced graduate of the School of Illusion here, and currently serve
Oh.
the Viteri family as well as take a certain range of jobs on my own around town.
Interesting. School of Illusion. Well, that could be useful. Well, I've been contracted to go after... Are you familiar with the Beholders?
Yes, I've heard of them.
Well, there's an undead type of them. Going after one.
Where did you say it was?
Oh, just in the Underdark.
I have some experience navigating down there.
Ah, 2 of you then. That's going to be helpful.
But you're telling me this
What's-
fellow's not the undead beholder in front of us, and I point to Rowan.
I point back at him and I use message so only he can hear it, and maybe he can't figure out that it's me projecting into his mind. But I just say, "Shut the fuck up."
Scott,
I'll
make
say
an
it loud.
intelligence.
Oh,
Make an intelligence
okay.
check. Or Arcana.
Intelligence. That's a 3.
Alright. You think that it's Rowan, but it takes you like a couple of seconds to figure it out.
Okay. I'll say it loud. Oh, you stop. I'm just kidding.
I put down my hand.
So he's very charismatic. If that helps.
Anyway, I can't just infiltrate things. I'm good with a bow. Might help versus a death tyrant.
Fine. Well,
And shoot it in its eye.
Well, it's got many. It's got one big one, but he stalks. We just wanted to stop at the Temple of the Morning Sun. Happen to know one of the priestesses there, and then make our way out to entrance for the Underdark.
I know something else that's big that has one eye. Cyclops.
So he's just
I'll
got
take it my
so
drum
many
kit and
of
go
these.
and then put it back.
Yeah, we're
Sar's
casually
rolling
talking
his
here.
eyes under his cloak.
I know you're casually talking here about attacking an undead beholder, but what's in it for us? Risking our
Well,
lives.
This is just the upfront payment. I put the chest on the ground, open it up. 1,000 gold. Split equally among all of us. Equal risk, equal reward. Again, with the thing with many eye stalks, it could very well shoot any of us. It's not just going to be me facing it down at its maw. So I think everybody's entitled to a fair sum here. Plus, there'll probably be more when we deposit it over at the Colosseum.
You could join us, Stepan. Could use your talents.
Sure. I'm in.
Yep.
I think I can handle myself.
It never
Leon,
hurts
what about
to
you?
get... I'll say this
Well,
too. Never hurts
if
to
you-
help the Crassians.
Well, if you're in, I can hardly say no, can I? Gotta see you
One
make it
rule,
out
though.
alive.
I will not hear another word about his appearance from any of you.
I don't mind it. Let them speak whatever they want. about my
I mind it
appearance.
for you.
Well, before I make that agreement, what happened? You look out of sorts.
I don't rightly know myself.
Well, I happen to know the Reagent Master. He is, for all intents and purposes, my father, more or less.
I've seen various specialists. Perhaps a visit with him wouldn't hurt, but it's a rather exclusive ailment I have, I'm afraid. I do have someone taking care of it, or at least stalling its advance.
Alright, well, satisfied with that. Then no more jokes from me.
I'll need 5 minutes, and then I'll meet you back here, and then we'll make the trip to the Morning Sun. I've been meaning to go to that place, seen it from afar a few times. Looks interesting.
You're the sneaky type, just make sure you don't loot it.
By all means, Rowan, take your time, powder your nose.
Only if there is a contract on looting it. And do you think that's necessary? Seeing as I just point at my face and it's skeleton bleach white.
He's just one of those types. He's got a 10-step skincare routine. He's an ambassador for the local branding agency and all that.
Oh, trust me, I'll help you out as much as I can. And when we find the ugly tree you fell from, I'll chop that thing down so no one's cursed by it ever again.
Did say
Glad
that was
to
the last
hear it.
we were hearing about it.
From me, I can't speak on his behalf. He's one of the performing types. Just can never get him to stop.
I must insist, Carl.
Well, I mean, Stefan, you said that you were a master of illusions. Why don't you make his face illusionarily prettier? Oh, I'm just kidding. Let's just get out of here.
Like I said,
Thank you.
don't mind him. And
I'll
I'll
take that
see
as your
you.
word.
I'll meet you back here in 5 minutes. And I leave to go to my stash and put the vial there.
Excellent. Yeah, you do so, Rowan. And accessing your stash is something I won't call for checks. I just assume you know how to stealthily do that yourself.
How many vials do I have on me then? Because I'm just replacing one. I'm assuming I'm carrying at least one on me at all times.
I assumed that the one that you always carry on you gave to Stepan to get tested. So this would replace that one, and your stashes all each have one as well.
Okay.
So it's up to you. If you want to take one from the stash, you'd have 2. But to you.
Yeah, no. Then I thought the way I made sense of it was that the stash was empty and I just got an extra one to put in there. But in that case, I'll just do nothing. I just walk up there, make sure it's still there.
Yeah, that's fine. You
And then
can
come
check
back.
on it. Okay.
Yeah.
You return to the party. The party, you're standing in the middle of the Mortals district. So again, this is a crowded place. We're getting into the afternoon. It takes about an hour to travel from district to district. So maybe 3 hours in total from corner of the city to corner of the city. This place is very, very large. Standing in the Mortals district, again, you note that as you approach the Temple of the Morning Sun, you pass by a lot of buildings, a lot of bazaars, a lot of shopping districts, a lot of farm warehouses. Everything under the sun is here. There's, as I said earlier, some of the party members passed by the Loaded Die. There are taverns. I'm not going to go into explaining everything that's here, but if there is something that a party member wants to seek out, this would be the place to do it probably, where you wouldn't be gathering any suspicion or running into anyone that's inappropriate for the place. There are children laughing, running and darting in between carts as you walk along the street side. There are merchants and guilds men attending to things, turning on lights for the evening, cleaning horse-drawn manure out of the street. Everything under the sun. Are we just...
Would like to see if I can grab some healing potions. I don't think I have any.
Okay, you could try at the temple if you'd like.
Sure.
And I did start you all with greater healing potions. It was in a message at some point, so you should each have 1 greater healing potion as well. And Burim will have an extra superior healing potion.
Uh-oh.
Peter. Oh, wait. How do I keep track of those in D&D Beyond?
You can navigate to your inventory and add them.
Okay.
Should be like middle-ish on the right. Should be an inventory or something like that, and then you might have to fiddle with it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Not it.
All right. So the party is approaching the temple, though.
Mm-hmm.
You're all ready. Nestled in the bustling southern heart of the Mortals district, at an intersection of no less than 5 streets, this modest cathedral of stone sports the worship of multiple gods: Estral, of the Midden Day, Echo and Shadris, nature's judgmental pair, and Bondur, god of pain. Approaching from the street would show the face of the building, nearly coming to a point where a set of winding stone steps lead into a brightly lit antechamber. The building grows larger from there in width as the shape of the block it inherited in its full triangular is triangular in shape. The building is a hodgepodge of renovations and sutured additions. The myriad shared spaces are maddening, yet somehow homely and comforting in their closeness. There are some people, some humans, some half-elves that are scattered about in pews and various chapel rooms as you walk through the central hallway, which is well lit. The space is very homely, it's very inviting, it's open to everyone. The double wide doors have been opened as you walk in, and as you make your way in, there are a flurry of priests as well. They all wear different vestments, different garments. Burim said that he was here to see someone called Teriel. That is a small halfling woman, and she is donned with, honestly, she's wearing plate as well, but she has a tabard over her top, and it is a sunburst as she worships Estral. However, there are several other priests that you could interact with if you wished. There's an elderly gentleman who is balding, and a kenku that's flitting about. Those of you that have interacted with a kenku, though, know that it's frustrating sometimes. So, Burim, I'll let you take the lead. What would you like to do?
Yeah, and just being my normal kind of boisterous self, I just walk in, open arm, Teriel, Sun Watcher. Ha ha.
He looks up at you. She says, "Well, Burim, ain't you a
I
sight for
pick-
sore eyes?"
I pick up her little form underneath the armpits.
Oh, by the god of Estral, the midday sun.
Ah, how are you, little lady?
I'm all right. Put me down.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I mean, I appreciate you. Make an insight check.
12.
Well, you think that normally that reception is met with much more joy. A little odd.
Something amiss?
Oh, heavens no. Nothing's amiss. Why would you think that?
It's just normally could always pick you up, fly you around a bit, kicking and screaming and hollering.
I'd bonk you with my warhammer if I could, but, you're all the way up there.
You sure there's nothing that you want to tell me?
Well, why don't you go first? You tell me what you're here for. I see you got some friends. You're usually alone.
No? Well, beholders?
Beholders? Yeah, I mean, I know what a beholder is. That's some foolish talk.
Well, we're going after an undead one. Of sorts.
Did you fall on your head again?
Nope, just fell into this as the initial pay. I put the chest on the ground, open it up. It's like, oh, by the way, I need you to keep this safe.
You want me to hold on to this for you?
It's never been a problem before.
Well, of course not. I can take it down to the basement after our conversation.
Just turn to Leon and say, he keeps flashing that thing around. It's going to be gone before he knows it.
If I was tasked to steal it, it will already be gone.
Do I overhear this?
Make a perception check with disadvantage, because you're interacting with Teriel. But I will have Teriel make a perception check, and she is a cleric.
Well, I rolled a nat 1 and a nat 2, so no.
Okay. Teriel didn't do much better. I'm going to say that you guys do not hear it.
Okay.
All right, you've been straight with me. Have you heard any rumors in town lately?
Know the festival's on the horizon.
Oh, yeah, Broker Day devils and whatnot.
About the only thing I've heard of off the bat.
Nothing else? Any of you hear any rumors?
Can I make a check to see if I have, as a man of the people?
Sure. Make a history check.
Sure. That's not great.
Don't forget your jack of the trades. You're not proficient. I think you add like half your proficiency or something.
Yeah. 8, 9, 10, 12 then.
12? Do you have your notes from creation?
Probably somewhere.
Scott, you have heard a rumor about the Gorefields being something that exists.
Okay. I'll chime in and said, "Milady." Wait, do I know her or no?
Yeah, probably.
You would by accompanying me and shit.
Milady Turiel, nice to see you again.
Oh,
I kiss you on the hand.
Beautiful, Carl. You are such a saint. Look
Oh,
at
it's
you.
me.
You fresh, tall drink of water.
Yeah, I look at the rest of the party like, see?
Yeah, I've been in and out of the slums here and there, heard a thing or two about something called the Gorefields.
Oh, heavens. I haven't heard anything about that. That sounds despicable, though. Hope it's not true.
Well, from what I've heard, it's nowhere for a pretty lady like yourself.
You stuffed that in a sack. I won't have it. I mean, maybe just one or two more. All right.
All right.
But everyone gather in here. And she motions you all to like huddle around the halfling in the middle of the chapel.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I have an angel in the basement.
Angel?
He fell from the fucking sky.
What do you mean? Like, literally fell from the sky?
Yeah. We went a meteorite. I think that's what you call it. It fell from the heavens into the fields, and we went out and got it. And there was a thing, a man. He's pale and handsome, but not as handsome as you, beautiful Carl. Don't you worry.
I never do.
Me and Krolthus went out, complained the whole damn way. That's all he does, though.
And what is he conscious? Is he talking?
Yeah, he doesn't remember who he is. We've been trying to teach him like manners and shit. It's not going well. Kind of slow. Thought angels would be like preloaded with all that shit.
Do you remember that he's an angel?
I don't think so. He's just got like real golden eyes, and he heals people when he touches them inadvertently.
That could be useful.
Well, yep, probably. I will say,
mean-
if you get grievously injured down there and you come back, you come to me. I'll fix you up.
So no. Well, what about my friend here? He's got some unknown affliction. I mean, doesn't
Yeah,
look
might
too
help
good.
to
Couldn't
touch
an
that
angel
man.
help?
I mean, we could like try. Would you want him to like touch you?
Yeah, I think it looks like it's a good idea as any. Could it hurt?
I doubt it can make it worse.
One of you make a persuasion check.
Oral.
Angel.
Yeah.
Do we know anything about angels?
You're welcome to make a religion check if you'd like.
That is
I'm gonna
a.
try.
You said persuasion?
Yep.
30
Damn. Is that with a nat 20 or is that like a 19?
to 17.
Carl,
Good.
Carl. You platinum tongue devil. Okay. I'd be willing to let him lay hands upon the... What'd you say is wrong with him again?
No one
We
knows.
don't rightly know.
Like a lasting cold.
Like, got herpes or something?
Not quite.
Okay.
I can't really describe it. The symptoms are annoying, to say the least.
Okay. All right, well, follow me downstairs and try to act casual. She, like, woodenly walks downstairs acting the most suspicious as possible. But she leads you back behind an altar. There's a spiral staircase that leads down into a spacious basement that's... It looks like they've tried to set up like a little homestead for the angel. There's like a bowl of water on top of a washstand, and some various clothing has been set aside. And down in the corner, butt naked, is a man. He's just like staring at the wall. He has black hair. Who would have thought? Skin isn't quite white. It's more of like a gray. He's just well muscled. But when he turns to you, his eyes are completely white. And he just says, "Hello."
Hello, sir.
Hello.
What do they call you?
They call me they.
Okay, they.
He nods at you.
Well, I've heard that your touch seems to heal people. My friend here seems to be afflicted by some unknown disease. I thought perhaps, maybe, you could lay your hands on him and see if he's any better.
If it's not too much trouble.
I will touch you. Come to me.
I
The naked man in the
Saunter
root
over.
cellar says to you.
I shrug and I walk over. I take my glove of my hand and I offer him my hand.
He reaches a hand out. But before your skin can touch his, he recoils. And for the first time that you've seen this creature, this placid look of just calm and serenity turns to disgust. He grimaces at you and he says, "You leave now."
I'm slightly taken aback. I just look at him. What's wrong?
There is no healing for you. You are damned.
Well, I've heard as much from other healers, but am I damned on a cosmic level?
Something has touched you from beyond my comprehension.
Yeah, baseball bat.
Doesn't mean I have to be damned if it's beyond your comprehension. Well, perhaps there's cure for me elsewhere. Thanks for your time. Nice step back.
He just turns back around and stares at the wall, but this time he begins praying in an angelic tongue.
Does he have wings?
He does not.
Halo or anything? Or
Nope, you just gather maybe Asimar, like as a race, but you're really not sure. It's a very peculiar interaction.
Ariel, you say this man fell from the sky.
Well, yeah, unless he fell from like one of the flying ships that the Dragonborn bring in.
Well, survived being in a meteor, I guess.
I guess, I don't know.
What's your plan with him?
I don't know. Got a naked man in my basement, and I don't know what to do with him. That's the most I've seen out of him, though. Whatever that there was. I will touch you, Rowan, don't you worry. Bless your heart. She reaches out a hand and like taps your shoulder. See, I did it.
Yeah, many have, but not your angel, man. I'll see you guys upstairs. I need some fresh air. I walk back upstairs, and you said there's a god of pain or something, Bodor, I think you said.
Bondor, yeah.
Bondor.
You can go upstairs and see Krolthus. Krolthus von Swart. Old elf. Bald. 2 different eye colors, one blue, one green. Hard to miss.
I'll try to find him. I'll meet back up with you guys once your business here is concluded. I just walk upstairs and look for this 2-eye colored gentleman.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take you long to find anyone. It's a long strip of buildings, so you have to sort of walk up and down that central hallway, but eventually you're going to bump into him. Nobody really worships Bondor. Kind of sucks. Like the god you would worship if you wanted to hurt yourself as penance. Most people don't want to do that. So it attracts a very specific type of follower. But you do eventually find him. He's in the back room. He has like this very stiff woolen robe on. Looks honestly like steel wool almost, but it's just like this very coarse material. But he looks somewhat comfortable in it. He's barefoot. Bald.
I call out to him and say, "Hello there.
Hello.
I'm looking for a boon for a quest I'm about to undergo."
You're looking for a boon? Oh. He shifts uncomfortably in his clothes. Oh, well, how can I help you?
Well, anything you can offer to slay a death tyrant with.
I know not.
Even if just peace of mind.
Well, perhaps you could come and worship with me at the altar of Bondor. The altar of pain!
Yeah, I'm in the mood for that. The other gods have forsaken me, seemingly.
They... He starts like waving a hand up in the air. They don't know our suffering. Gods upon their fluffy clouds. Sorry, I have to take the nails out of my pants.
Oh, yeah, man. Absolutely.
All right, come. He kneels before an altar, and it's like an altar of thorns. He says, well, we'll start you off easy. Reach a hand out and hold it over the flames. Pulls 2 candles forward, and he puts a shaky hand over one of the candles. You can start to smell like flesh burning.
I look at him doubtful. How does this help exactly?
You must believe.
I shrug and do it.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
I fucking die. Let's see.
You take 35 fire damage.
Oh, 22.
Nice.
Damn.
You do not pull away. You take 2 fire damage. As you hold your hand there for like a solid minute. Like this isn't just like, oh, it sparked and dealt damage to you. It's like you're there and he's looking at you and looking back and looking at you and looking back. It's, yes, good. Bondor is pleased with your offering. Very well. Let us pray. And he removes your hand from the fire and he puts it on your shoulder and he begins to pray in a tongue you've never heard before. How open are you to receiving the blessing of another god? Do you believe in this Bondor?
Okay, Rowan is desperate for any way to find some way of dealing with this disease, so he is fully open to it right now. He'll try anything.
Okay. You hear a voice
See if it does something.
in the back of your mind, just subtle. You think at first perhaps it's this old man Krulfus whispering, but he sounds kind of constipated, so you know it's not him. You crack an eye open and you glance around yourself. You look over your shoulders and there's no one else in this chamber. No one else was mad enough to sit down with this old man and do weird shit. Except you are. And you hear the voice say, tomorrow, you will be stronger. As your friends fall, you will stand. You feel magic sort of brace you. Now, if you would like to write this down, if you take damage that would kill you, you will instead heal for that amount. One time. And this effect will fade in 24 hours.
One time, 24 hours. Okay. I look at Krulfus after the prayer is concluded and say, Krulfus, I think that worked. I believe I heard your god speak to me.
Well, he speaks in a rough tongue not many like to feel. Kind of like a cat.
He said tomorrow I'll feel stronger, so that will be great if I do.
He shakily gets up onto his feet and helps you up, and he says, my god will never flinch from you, from your pain. Come back anytime.
I think I will. And I nod at him, and I'll just wait outside to see when the others make their way upstairs and walk over to them.
Okay. Gives you a bow and then kneels back down before the throne. The altar, rather. All right. By now, I would assume that you've all left, unless you want to interact with the somewhat daft angelic man.
I was going to see if Tariel might have any blessings she could bestow upon us as a group before we leave.
I could do something for y'all. Gotta leave a tithe, though. Is that all right? 5 gold apiece?
Tario, you can't do us a favor for old friends.
Oh, don't you pull that on me. All right. But if I have to do door duty, again, I am holding you responsible. It's the worst.
We're just only asking for this one favor. I mean, we might not come back, but I'm sure we will.
Okay.
Got a good point. This one does have a higher risk than usual.
Fine. She pulls a book from her waist. It's like dangling on her sides by chains. She flips open to a page. She begins to recite an incantation. And she walks by one after another. Bessar?
If this is coming from like her god or some sort of like deity, Sar will walk away. I don't need it.
Okay. She like starts with you and you walk away. She's like, well, that's fucking rude. She moves on to the next, seemingly unfazed. She jumps up and touches beautiful Carl on the forehead, and then Burham on the forehead, and then Stepan on the forehead. Rowan, have you returned by now?
If this is happening upstairs, yeah.
Okay. And then she jumps up and touches you on the forehead, and you feel warmth and light shine on you. You all gain aid at level 4, which I believe is 20 maximum hit point increase.
Damn. Temp HP.
Maximum HP increase.
Oh.
This will only last 8 hours. From now, clock is ticking. And if you live because of this, I want a double tip. Tithe. I don't take any of the money from the tithe. I promise. Anyway, good day, y'all. Have a good adventure.
Ta-ta, mademoiselle. And I blow her a kiss and do my double wink.
You stop. That boy is daft and pretty. Okay. So, the party departs from the Temple of the Morning Sun. Are you prepared for your adventure?
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
Yes.
All right. You move toward the green, and you stand before the great ziggurat that leads down into the schism below. And we will take a 5-minute break.
By the way, Leon, dogging your character for being freaking ugly is gonna be so fun.
Oh my god.
It's all I'm gonna
Probably.
think about. Just like old ugly jokes, like your mama's so ugly.
You'll probably not get much of a reaction from Rowan, but he'll make a mental note of it. If it's between saving you and someone else, you're probably not gonna get saved.
I'm not gonna get a reaction, but I believe someone messaged me saying "shut the fuck up." That's a reaction if I ever heard one.
You're upsetting my companions.
Anyway, the party marches toward the industrial district. As you're walking through the Mortals district, passing through the shimmering wall, you know, the evening sun is shining down. It's glancing off of this gigantic, just illusory wall. You can't help but to feel a little wistful as you're carrying on into the industrial district, the Nines, looking around yourselves, realizing that, you know, all the mortals are behind and all the tieflings are here, quietly residing, living on in their sort of on their laurels, you know, resting on all their extra income and whatnot. And as you're traveling between some of these factories and industrial warehouses, I would like you all to make perception checks.
Yeah, I'm good at that.
17.
14 for me.
18.
13.
10 for me.
Soya, what was yours?
13.
13. Rowan and Stepan first. As you're walking along these colorful cobblestones on the silent streets, there's a dreadnought on the far side, and he's just walking along. You know, the pike that he's carrying is thunking on the stone as he's walking past. And suddenly, you feel something. Just a gentle tremble. Then you hear it next. You hear the gravelly scratch of cobblestones rubbing against each other as though something is beneath them. And then finally your companions start to perk up one by one. Carl, Burham, and finally Vassar. You realize that glass is rattling in the chambers or along the walls beside you. The iron railings on the Gothic buildings, the courtyards that are surrounding you, everything shakes, and you feel it running up your spine and tingling your scalp. And then it comes to an end. You see the dreadnought stand and look around, and then cautiously resume walking. You hear shouts, you hear a bell in the distance ring from one of the industries. What would you like
What
to
the
do?
fuck was that?
You saw it too, or felt it?
Glass shattering all the way down that street. I know a different way.
Yeah, I'm curious enough to take a look. Nothing disturbs the nines without some motive. This is a peaceful place. Besides, I
Didn't seem
deal
to
in
bother-
information.
Didn't seem to bother that dreadnought much, but we can take a look.
We'll make one quick amendment. The glass did not break, it just rattled in its frame. It was a slight tremble, like a tremor.
It was near us, or
All
a
around you.
little bit away. Yeah.
Under you, around you. Like I said, bells far in the distance began pealing as well.
Odd.
Does this seem to come from any source? Like it kind of emanated out from someplace?
Make a nature check. I'm going to warn you, the DC on this is going to be pretty high.
16.
Okay. As best you can tell, this was some sort of, perhaps a minor earthquake. But you know personally that Taembria doesn't have earthquakes, or never has before. Broker's Day is still maybe 3 weeks off. So the crystal shouldn't be starting.
Strangest thing. Yeah. It did feel like a natural event. I'm thankful it's gone. But
If you really want to know, Yoda, it's that dreadnought.
I don't
I
know.
don't think
Rowan, did
you'll
your
know
mom fall
much.
down the stairs?
I sigh.
Oh my god.
maybe I'll ask the School of Illusion next time I see them.
Very well. Okay. So the party continues on to the green. Doesn't take very long before you're there. As I said before, I think the break, you're standing before the ziggurat. I mean, this thing towers above. It's pretty typical, like, it's out of place. The stone is gray stone. They're blocks that are carefully polished and dragged into place. It's almost like Aztec in our eyes, which is completely opposite this Gothic architecture that's surrounding it. It's very peculiar, very unusual. It's not normal, but it is operated by the House of Vatiri. So Bryce, your character is the most familiar with it.
If you guys don't mind, I can lead us down to the webways below.
Very well.
Means
All right. Bryce, how do you go about this? Do you search for a back door? Do you want to avoid Crenshaw, the groundskeeper / resident of the tower? Do you want to approach him and ask him for guidance? How would your character do this?
Am I seen here often on official business?
Probably not.
Okay.
But you are one of the only party members that has one of those little wood chips that has your family crest on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that can get you a lot of leeway. And your family crest is a maze.
I don't really see a reason for secrecy here. It's not like I'm trying to avoid anyone, and I'm allowed to be here. So I'm just going to go down the normal ways until I learn otherwise.
Okay. So there's a central stairway that just runs from the exterior all the way up to the top of the ziggurat. Now, the base of this, as you all march by, there is a very fine cobbled way that leads across in front of the schism where the commandments have been placed. This large slab of obsidian with the laws of the city scrawled on them. You march past those and begin up this exterior stairway to the top of the ziggurat. It's a pretty good hike. Like, you're all winded probably by the time you get up there. Maybe not Burham with his stout, meaty
Lettuce
haunches. But as you approach the top, there is an older man who is just sweeping the stairs. He looks up and he sets eyes on you in particular, Stepan, and he nods. You're welcome to interact with him if you want, but you don't need to.
Is this Crenshaw? Do I know this is Crenshaw?
This is Crenshaw.
It's good to see you, Crenshaw. How are the grounds?
Keeping them spotless, as per usual. How are you,
we-
Stepan?
Oh, I'm quite fine. Leading some friends here on a tour.
A tour. Not much to be seen down there.
Oh, you'd be surprised. It's beautiful down there.
I always thought it smelled like my grandfather's root cellar. He didn't take
You
very...
are right in that.
Yes, he was a slob. Anyway,
Are we
have a good...
are we prepared for the
Oh, brokers!
the upcoming Brokers Day?
No, much to be done. I have to hang all the ornaments. It's gonna take... This year we're doing some very fine additions to the outcroppings of the ziggurat. I'll need some mage hand help if you're willing.
My pleasure. My duty, in fact.
You could bring that very handsome fellow you've got with you.
Oh, you mean this man? This is Carl.
Carl.
Beautiful, Carl.
Indeed.
And I give him a limp handshake.
Not very handy with a broom with that grip, I'm afraid.
Oh, you'd be surprised. And I'll take a broom and I'll start feverishly sweeping to the best of my ability.
Wow, he has some verve. My grandfather didn't.
Can I make a performance check to make it a little
Oh.
artsy?
Absolutely.
Alright. That's 16. 29.
You
Oi!
begin to swing the broom like around your neck and around your arms, and you're doing somersaults and twirls all the way down the stairs and up the stairs and around the edges, and you're just doing this like death-defying dance across the... I'm not exactly sure what to call the top edge of a ziggurat, but that's where you're at, and that's what you're doing. And you see this man just fall to his knees, and like a tear rolls down his cheek. I haven't seen something that... beautiful in many days.
I want to end it with ollieing the broom down the stairs, doing a kickflip, and then ending in a power slide.
You do that, and you
And
just...
then I'll say, "Never judge a man by his handshake."
Well, he's at the top, so you yell that up to him. He's like,
Oh,
I give you every penny I have for that performance. And you just hear like his life savings tinkling down. It's like 10 silver.
I'll take it. I'll take 5,
Okay.
and then I'll give 5 to Rowan and be like, "Here's for some cosmetic surgery when you can afford it."
I'll
I'm
take
just
the no
joshing.
questions asked.
Okay.
We're just having fun.
Add 5 silver to your inventories. You hand the broom back to Crenshaw, and he's just like, oh my. I will cherish this. Anyway, get out of here. Go. You have important things to do, youth.
Yep. Thank you. Have a great day, Crenshaw. See you soon.
Thank you. And he begins sweeping forlornly.
Ta, young man.
As
See you soon.
Oh, you beautiful Carl. As you guys are going down, Scott, looking over your shoulder, you see him try and twirl the broom like around his neck, and it falls to the floor. Anyway.
I'll yell back up, "Keep your wrist firm when you twirl it," and I'll shut the door, I guess.
Okay, very well.
Okay, God, he was boring.
Oh my god. You gave that man the moment of his life. Okay. So, Stepan, you are leading the way, I assume, at this point.
Yes.
You know that you're going to get to the base of the stairs and you're going to lose sort of a track of where you're going, and then Vesar will take over. But for the time being, this is known as Wellway, or the Funnel, and the path beneath the ziggurat of House Vatiri is one of apparent frequent use. The spiraling natural tunnels leading down with hand-hewn steps and a low ceiling with constant poking roots is well worn. The smell of earth and dirt is a welcome one after being used to the city. The way is long and tiresome, but eventually the cave opens up to a sort of level base. High above you, suspended hundreds of feet up, is a massive reddish-purple crystal. Chains, each link the size of a small house, strain to hold it where it remains in the midst of the great void, the schism. Now, if you were to be up top and looking down where the commandments rest, you would see the top of this crystal. You are now below it, several hundred feet down. If you would like, you can make an investigation check for me.
I would like.
Get it.
15.
19.
Okay.
My rolls are insane.
5.
Okay. This is not a mandatory check, but if you'd like to, you can.
I was about the
Natural
same way.
20.
Nat 20. Okay.
Yeah,
Vesar,
18, 19, 20.
I am going to tell you that you note a series of footprints that move in a manner that is akin to your folk, the drow. The others don't notice that specific detail. You are welcome to keep it to yourself, but it's up to you. Now,
I don't say anything.
okay. Rowan, you note that there are a lot of different subtle traffics here. Some of which that you've identified to be the movements of laborers. You see like the occasional scratch along the wall where like maybe a shovel scraped against stone, or heavy sort of slack footfalls of tired men. And Stepan, it's much the same for you. But you don't have to mention it.
Yeah. Maybe I'm not surprised, just considering the upcoming Broker's Day and preparations to get ready for that. Or does it look out of place?
It's out of place. It's unusual. You know this as this is House Vatiri. This stuff shouldn't be here.
Oh, that's odd. It's just
What
a
is?
little bit more traffic down here than usual. This place isn't usually well traveled.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll see some people up ahead that will explain all this.
You're welcome. These are little tidbits for you specifically, Bryce. Now Vesar didn't give you the other hint, but this would be something that you'd be welcome to tell someone in the family about. And it would possibly stir up a commotion.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do nothing with it, nothing will come of it.
Sure.
Okay. So, continue down. Now, once you've reached the funnel below the crystal, it's much the same as before. It's another spiraling staircase of naturally hewn rock. However, this time you are feeling encased in rock. This time as you're going down, it's not like open looking out over a chasm. This time it's heading deep into the earth. The earth that, as far as you're aware, just somewhat violently trembled. So it's perhaps a little more claustrophobic than usual. Down the schism, down the winding stairs of the funnel, beyond the depths where rock and stone blot out the moonlight, the wind turns sour, air heavy with dust and dirt. Craggy passes and twist-turn ways web out like the legs of a spider before you. It would be good to have a guide, but perhaps one with the correct skills could navigate. There are 3 passages that look potentially promising. One before you, one to your left, and one to your right. This is 3 of hundreds, perhaps even. What would you like to do?
Can I make a perception check?
You are welcome to make a perception
If
check.
there's... Okay, I'm just looking for anything that looks death tyrant-y.
Okay. This is the moment, Vesar, you have traveled these ways before. You know which way leads... Sorry, Leon, just 1 second. You know which way leads to the Drow way, which is where if you interact with Burham, he has a map that would illuminate more of this for you. You also know the way to the realm where Krabadon, the ooze priest, is. So this is kind of your choice. Do you want to steer the party on your errand or on theirs? And you are free to ask me questions about this too if you want to make a more informed decision.
Do I know what kind of area that the whole Krabadon route would take us to? Would there possibly be a Death Tyrant in that area? Is it going completely off course?
There would not be a Death Tyrant in that region. You would have to probably explain to the party that it's out of the way, but it's not. It's like a couple hours out of the way. Like it'd be like 4 hours total. So you could get there, do your thing, come back before you've lost any of your boons.
Okay. I'll mention it to the party. While we are here, I do have a request. I do have an errand I need to run. I believe it should be in this direction. Someone I need to meet up with.
Well, does it involve killing someone or something? Will it be hostile?
I don't believe there'll be killing involved, just a conversation.
Well, I'm good at that if you need any help.
I would prefer you stay quiet.
I still owe you for saving me about that thing that one time, remember? There was
do.
the fight in the bar, I said something to someone. Got a little touchy-feely.
Well, as he continues to hold that over you, anyway, if it's not going to take too much time, and if it's not going to add any extra duress to us, favor for a favor. Why not?
Couple of hours at the most.
Mm-hmm.
Those footprints on the ground cleared up by now, or do they carry on in any direction down here?
I will say that they carry on in one direction, but it is the opposite direction that Bessar is about to take you.
Okay. Noted.
Bessar, do you lead the way?
I will lead the way if everyone's willing.
Okay. Make 2 survival checks for me with advantage.
2 with advantage. Another natural 20. And a 8.
Okay. Roll a d8 for me.
3.
Okay. You know this way well. This is the Ooze God's way. Caves have all looked quite the same for some time now as you're trekking deeper and deeper. What seems to be developing as you travel this path is the smell. You might recall Zalith's words to you. Nothing too keen. Just threats of grody-ness. Something sickly at first, then perhaps sweet, but this swing of scent that catches you off guard with tainted whiffs continues to seesaw back and forth. A dampness then takes its hue along the slick stones, and your footfalls must become more cautious. Whatever influence or phenomena is present down here is one you just as soon avoid. But after some time, with your navigation being keen and safe, the cave opens up before you. You stand upon a large shelf. It's like a plateau almost within a cavern that had walls traveling up and into the inky blackness above. Who knows how deep you are now? Far, far below the city Taembria above. That fishy smell of the docks and the sticks you suddenly miss with the oppressive weight of miles of dirt above you. The putrid stench of continual rot and perfidious acidity. At least the chamber has a pleasant, if sickly, glow to it. The plateau you stand upon is like a natural shelf, overlooking seemingly miles of cave beyond it. You see stalks of dim mushrooms tall as evergreens standing in copses. Muted glowing stalactites give a hint of the vastness above. A burbling shower of acid splashes off the far side of the plateau, but the vastness of this realm isn't what brought you here. It's the altar, nestled along the exterior cavern wall, not far from the entrance. It stands hideous in the near dark. The glow of bile and filth irradiated runs along the bones affixed like a spider web. Beyond, a stone altar pocked with the presence of ooze marbled with remains in gelatinous repose. Rubadan, the Rotting, a drow man in bile-covered robes, stands before the altar. Well, like he's hunched pretty good. You gather that his body isn't too firm these days. If you look at him, his eyes are milky, his skin is melting, there are fungus-like patches along visible flesh in a yellow pus-covered robe that seems to be moving of its own accord. He does not seem to take note of you. You don't think his perception check is very good.
I remove the hood from my cloak. Are we close-ish to him? Do we have to continue into, like, the cavern?
This is pretty close. It's like as you come out onto this plateau, there's probably 100 square feet in every direction before it slides down into the greater cavern. And off to your right, to the north, you can see that that's where this altar is nestled in along the exterior rock.
I'll head in that direction.
Okay. It's just a short jaunt right up the rock.
Sure. I'll look to the party. You're welcome to join me if you wish, or you can stay back here. Either way.
Have I been down here before?
Nope.
Well, I am taken with how beautiful it all is and mysterious.
Okay.
Go along with them.
Yeah, I'm following Vizar out of pure curiosity.
Okay.
I'll follow too because I still owe him for that thing that I don't know what it is yet.
Okay.
Just help me out. That's all I know.
Rowan.
Yeah, I follow Bryce.
Okay. Everyone goes along. Bessar. The man's yellow bile-soaked coat is all you can see as he's hunched over this altar.
I'll clear my throat and try to grab his attention.
Who is it?
Bizarre Halal.
Vasa. Ah. One of the queens. I can smell your filth. That cleanliness.
I've been sent by Zalith. I
How
assume you know why.
unfortunate. Yes, I think I know why. It must be the attention I've been drawing.
You have drawn quite a bit of attention.
Perhaps. But my god demands the sacrifices. What
Mine
would...
doesn't appreciate you stealing its people.
He paces back and forth, sort of limping. You gather his legs are perhaps a mismatched height.
Well, what am I to do then? Pit our gods against one another?
Not my problem.
But you've been
Consider
warned.
this.
Yes?
How this is your warning.
Make an intimidation check with advantage.
Sure. That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. He's cowed. He sort of backs away from you, shuffling up against the throne. He says,
Yes, yes. I know it. My warning. Very well. You have been heard. Has your mistress asked you? about what she needs to fetch for me.
Did she mention anything about that?
She did, but she didn't say you were fetching it for him.
Okay. No, she hasn't.
Make a deception check.
22.
Okay.
Very well. If you do speak with her, let her know I need it. Immediately. It will allow us to carry on.
Carry on with.
Our sacrifices. That way, they'll not see what rests in the spaces between. She'll know what it means.
Of course.
Did he say the spaces between?
Are you aware of this?
It rings a bell. Just something from my past. What spaces between?
The ones of focus, light.
He keeps clearing his throat egregiously.
Where might one find out more about these spaces between?
My mistress would know more. Perhaps if you return someday, you can come with me and commune physically with my god and be a sacrifice. The
I
willing
don't know about all that.
are much, much more well received.
I just kind of grab a book at my waist and just kind of bring myself back a little bit with the others.
Okay.
Have I seen at any point, like, any particular book that I think I was told to find on
Make a
Stepan's person?
perception check. Contested with a sleight of hand check from Stepan. I know, Bryce, you might not be sneaky right now, but I want to give this a contest.
And
10.
Okay. You noted him drawing forth a book. You're not sure if it's the correct.
Okay. Very well. Well, Corbadon, I believe our business here is concluded.
Yes. Please. Come back soon.
Surely. I'll walk away.
Okay. Andy walks away. All right. If there's anything else that you guys want to do down here, you're welcome to. But it would be, I mean, you're kind of on a little bit of a ticking clock to get back. It's going to be a couple hours back to just the webway and then to continue on your investigation.
yeah, I'd rather keep that buff. Let's make haste.
Agreed.
Very good. Vesar, you lead them back, but this conversation, the things that have transpired here, they have you a little shook. You understand that you've been tasked with gathering something that your party is unaware of. And you think that you just saw it. But also the fate of perhaps ending up like Krabadon, should your pact be given to the ooze god, probably has you a little miffed, a little cautious. That's a pretty negative lifestyle choice for you. Step back for sure. And you get a little distracted as you're guiding the party back the way you came, and you take a wrong turn at some point. And as the lot of you are moving forward in these caverns, they're just surrounding you with stone and darkness. And those of you that don't have dark vision, I assume you've perhaps lit torches. Vesar is not in such a need, but as he's walking forward, you feel the ground beneath your feet change. And in this sudden case, The hard stone becomes slightly soft and gravelly. And as you're all marching forward, SR, you stop, realizing that you've led the party slightly astray. Check my notes briefly. I would like perception checks from Vesar and whoever else is in the front with Vesar, but only those two people. So decide amongst yourselves.
So that I'm in the front just to be ready for the fight here.
Yeah,
I
I think
was.
that's fair.
19 for me.
3.
3, okay. So you do not see anything, Burim. The moment your feet starts to like sink into the rock beneath you, you get alarmed and you look over at Vesar like he's led you astray. And Vesar, your eyes are drawn up to the ceiling. You see a spider-like creature with a dark, grayish-skinned dwarf atop. He's a couple 100 feet away in the darkness. Your superior dark vision allows you to make out limbs and arms and color of the steeder that he is upon, which is a large spider-like creature. And you see him cut a line. The soft silt beneath your feet begins to tumble away in a rock slide. I would like dexterity saving throws from everyone.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
24.
21.
Crap, this should be fun and
21.
interesting.
20.
Okay. Bryce, what'd you get?
21.
Okay.
7.
Burim, you look down at your
Nat
feet.
20.
You look down at your feet, and the rest of the party like jumps to the side, jumps around, like grabs onto each other and something. And Burim, you just woof. You're just gone with the rock slide as it tumbles down.
What? Where did he go? Urim? Urim?
Buddy!
Do I hear them yelling?
You do, after a tumultuous period of fighting for your life, being literally carried down by like a slurry of loose stone. You're finally at the base. You take 12 bludgeoning damage. And you are encased in stone. You feel maybe like a limb sticking out. You try to reply, but the weight is on your chest and it's pushing down on you. Anyone from the party is welcome to make an investigation check to find Burim. Or chase after the Duragar.
I'm going to look for him, so I'll do the investigation check.
Okay. I mean, you're all welcome to make the same thing. You can all make an investigation check.
I made a 13.
Okay.
Investigation.
16 for me.
Okay.
Can I still see the Duragar?
He's beginning to rush away. So the ground was swept away. We'll say that you had to spend a turn moving yourself to a safe location. And he spent that turn running away. You know the general direction he's gone. Finding him will be near impossible, but you could certainly go after him and make survival checks to track him. But you know that this is sort of like, it's a choice. You choose to help the party in Burim, or you choose to chase.
I'll help Burim.
Okay.
Sames.
Okay.
18.
All right. Would you get
19?
19? Okay. Your collective efforts, you find Burim quickly. Burim, you feel the oxygen beginning to just run out. You could feel this weight crushing on your chest, but you hear hands digging away at the stones above you. Since your entire party decided to stay and help you, I'm going to say that they easily move the rock and pull you out to your feet.
Oh, what in the devils?
Worm, I keep telling you to watch where you're going. Always look down every once in a while.
You know me, clumsy feet and this metal.
You big, silly, dumb, beautiful oaf.
Oh, stop it. And I just feel the scar, that lines from my eye bisecting my lip. Like, oh.
And then I'll do a level 2 healing word on you just to, you know, get you all
Touch me up.
released a little bit, yeah. You get
Burum, when are you going to put the poultices on?
I'd say now would be a good time
Okay.
after that. Because I was just thinking, like, shit, I never had a moment to be like, do you want to put this on?
You get 11 back.
Oh, perfect. Almost.
So, yeah, nearly there. One shy.
You have 5 of these, Burum. So
Okay.
one can go to everyone.
Hey, everybody. I've got these from my reagent master that we've talked about before, Thrasimund. He said, when we get down here, put these on. I've got about, I think, 8 hours of use here. Just on the skin, wherever.
What does it do?
I don't know. So it would help.
That's not a lot to go on.
Trust with my
Rowan.
life. He also made this, and I hold up the lightning rod that's supposed to eat up a ray from the what was it?
Death Tyrant.
Death Tyrant. I can't remember the second one. Like death.
Hmm.
I'm glad he got picked the first episode.
I've seen something of this likeness at the School of Illusion.
Oh, really? Oh, he did say he commissioned it. He didn't make it himself.
Oh, Burum, you forget I'm a connoisseur of these things. And could I, like, ritual cast Identify on these things just to let them know what they do?
Sure.
What they are?
If you guys want to spend 10 minutes.
Be mindful that was a Duragar that triggered that. He went that way. There may be
Well,
more.
what's more, I don't remember us crossing this way on our way down here. Are we along the same path on the way back?
I believe we might have gotten a bit mixed up. No matter. I should be able to get us back on track.
Forward or retrace our steps?
I think forward would work just fine.
Oh, what should do?
All right.
I just begin slathering this stuff like all over my neck.
Very good.
Mind the smell. Leave
Pungent.
something to be desired.
Well, I can take care of that. I'll cast a minor illusion and make it all smell just fine.
Okay. Do you all apply the poultice?
Yeah.
Or
For the next
Yep.
8 hours, you will have plus 1d4 on all saving throws.
Ooh.
1d4, you said? Very nice.
I hope you guys are tracking these, because I'm not. Basically, when we get to the end of this arc, they'll all be gone. But all right. So Vesar leads the party onward again, back into the oppressiveness of the dark. The webway winds onward, and eventually you find yourselves back where you started. This time, Vesar, you know to lead them down the Drow way. According to the map that Burum received from Athena, somewhere along the path to the Drow home, which would be about a 24-hour trip, just about an hour down, I think you see where this Death Tyrant's lair must break away. I'd like one more survival check with advantage, since you know the path.
$18.
Perfect. You march along with no issue whatsoever. After some time, caverns begin to narrow into tight passages, no more than 10 feet in any direction. The dark oppression of subterranean travel only increases as the space declines. Finally, the tunnels open into a natural pocket. the stone floor strewn with rubble and traces of frantic movement. A cavern entrance carved into the rock face before you, at the end of the 20-foot clearing, is a yawning and dark maw of foreboding. 30 feet above it, there is another tunnel into the rock, strewn with hanging moss. I would like all of you to make investigation checks.
Natural 20.
Damn.
Nice.
I'm not kidding.
You're in your element.
Yeah. I wish I could roll like
19.
this when I'm DMing.
Ooh. No, that ends up with dead parties. I cherish my low rolls when I'm DMing.
19 for me.
Okay.
4.
All right.
23.
3. Okay. So the three, Burm, Vesar, and Stepan, immediately you were drawn to a small carving that's inlaid on the inside of the arched entrance to this potentially death lair. Rowan, you and beautiful Carl are distracted by something. The hairs on the back of your neck raise. You look down the darkness of the path from whence you came. Can't help but feel like someone's watching you.
I draw my bow.
Absolutely. The rest of you see a crudely carven face, perhaps of a dwarf, except one of the eyes is gouged out, and in place of it, there's blue chalk.
How far is this?
Oh, it's right in the entrance, so 20 feet from the cave. Basically, it's like a small, open cave with an entrance into what you believe to be the Death Tyrant lair.
I point this out to the party.
The three of them have noticed the carving. You and beautiful Carl are distracted by something from behind. A sense that you're being watched.
I'll summon my bow.
Okay. What's that look like?
This like dark purplish energy kind of like sprouts out from my hand, and you see this like dark wooden elegant bow appear out of thin air.
Excellent. All right.
Seeing him get his
Can I?
bow sound, I'll pull out my sword and shield.
Can I pursue that feeling at all? Can I investigate a little bit?
Absolutely.
Perception check, perhaps?
Yeah, make a perception check instead of investigation. And maybe walk back into the tunnel a little ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, the natural ones are overflowing. Well, that's still a 15, though.
Okay.
Oh, wait, it's not a natural 1. It's 7 plus 8.
I was going to say, do you have, what is that, reliable talent or something? The rogue? Do you have that yet or no?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's 11.
Okay. Even still, as you're peering into the darkness, do you have dark vision?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
You-
think I'm 99% sure high elves have
Yeah.
dark vision.
You can't gather a sense of anything. You run your hands against the wall, you check for traps, you check for places where someone might look through the rocks. You scrape away some moss. You find no presence of anyone else.
I walk back to the party and I say nothing because I don't want to be alarmist.
You do all note that there are two ways in beyond. The bottom entrance with the carving and the top one covered in hanging moss. What would you like to do?
So far, I
you-
like the top one.
How far up is it?
30 feet. An easy
How would you
job
get up
for a
there?
thief.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no discernible way or method to go up. But using your knowledge of a death tyrant, you think that he would simply fly in. I mean, you know that you can simply scale the wall. It's just a wall. It's just a
Yeah.
flat wall.
I can scout ahead if you guys want, so we don't walk into a waiting death tyrant.
We got an idea.
All right. How do you do stealth checks when there's technically nothing to contest them? Do I just
make a stealth check
succeed? Okay.
and just tell me what it is.
21.
An excellent stealth check. You climb the wall, right? Is that what you're doing?
I spider climbed the wall. I just want to make sure everyone's aware. I literally Spider-Man up the wall.
That's cool.
He does that. Rowan just simply springs up the wall with no issue, and you see him hanging down and quivering up into the darkness in the reeds beyond. Rowan, perception check, please.
Come on, I'm supposed to be good at these. 17.
17. You part the moss that hangs down gently. Looking in, you are met eye to eye with an eyeball the size of your head. Panic catches in your throat, but you hold it down. You keep it together. You let out an exhale calmly as you peer in and realize that this is a gas spore, a natural creature that looks a little bit like a beholder, tied up in the reeds as a trap for someone that would try and crawl in here. It's a dead end.
All right. I crawl back down and tell him.
Okay. You bested that
Definitely
DC
don't go up
by
there.
1. Excellent, though.
Well,
Damn.
All right. Your thief returns, telling you that that is not the way.
Okay. I'm still
Yes.
skeptical of this runic writing here. It's just a symbol?
It is. Bessar, make a history check.
I was gonna say, is it anything I'd have possibly seen before? That's a 12.
Okay. You don't know exactly as far as like from a historical stance, but thinking back, you think perhaps the Duragar that you witnessed had a blue glint to him. But you didn't make anything of it until you saw this.
This may belong to Duragar. Maybe the one that we saw before, or that I saw.
I thought this was a different creature's lair.
Well, maybe it is now.
Hmm.
when they mentioned the Duragar, I'll say... See, I had a feeling that we're being watched earlier. I investigated and found nothing, but I had a distinct feeling that something's behind us in the tunnel. Seeing as we met a Duragar earlier, maybe it wasn't so far off.
Yeah. Maybe they're back to find us.
Stepan,
Yes.
make a intelligence check, history check, maybe a nature check of your choice.
Okay. 21.
21. You have heard that beholders are megalomaniacal creatures that like to subjugate lesser races. You think that perhaps the blue eye, the markings, maybe they are indeed the beholder's creatures.
Well, it's possible the creature that we saw earlier is some servant of this beholder. And there may be more.
We're not gonna find them just standing about out here. Might as well throw this door open and get on with it.
What's our strategy?
Well, I'm gonna get face to face with this ugly thing. Whack it about. Beautiful Carl's gonna play some inspiring hymns.
I can't wait.
I'll take out my magic drum and be I'm gonna play a couple blast beats, sing a couple tunes.
You're just
Well-
gonna sing while the rest of us
Oh.
fight?
Don't you worry, Uggo. I'll do more than that.
It's
These
much
are the
worse
same
than
beholders
anything.
that can kill you with death rays?
That's what this is for. I hold up the lightning tube.
I think we should find cover as quickly as possible.
Probably not a bad idea for you
shadow.
hanging out in the back.
Do you know of any defenses that it has?
None. My
You-
knowledge.
You ask as you get to the lair instead of back at the city.
You're an
I imagine-
informed monster hunter?
I imagine that most of these creatures won't do, they'll have some resistance to non-magical attacks, so you're going to want to, hit it with magical items and spells and things of that nature. But other than that, you hit it until it stops moving. Don't outright kill it. Need it alive but unconscious.
Okay.
Oh, don't worry. We've done this before. Hundreds of times.
He's not exaggerating on that bit either.
And look, do you see a scratch on my beautiful, perfect, chiseled chin?
I kind of tilt my face towards any torch that's illuminating things and just show the scar that's from my eye bisecting my lip. Yeah,
Oh, we had one oopsie daisy.
one.
A big oopsie daisy. But look at me, beautiful as ever.
You guys going in the lair, or are you just gonna chit chat outside of it all day?
Oh, we're going
The
in.
door.
Just don't want to die. Okay.
Anyway, the weather's really nice, huh? How about that game yesterday?
All right, let's go.
That's what I need Nick for, apparently. All right. So the party pokes their head in through the tunnel and opening up beyond. An acrid wave of pungent and noxious air assaults your senses as soon as you enter the lair. Path to your left and right. The left nearly ends in an immediate climb upon a shelf, about 10 feet high. The right curves down an ample hall until it also ends in a small climbable wall. The cavern is dark and quiet. Too dark and too quiet for your taste. So, I would like you all to make perception checks once again.
That's a crit fail for me, so...
6.
18. I'd be spitting hot fire.
8.
12.
Oh, Soya, what did you get?
6.
6. Okay. So, the first to feel it is Stepan again. At first, the ground under you rumbles. Then the walls. Then the ceiling. You hear the shattering of stone and the gravel from behind you emptying down. Almost the same exact noise that you heard before when the rock slide began. You all shuffle forward well into the lair, finally, looking behind you as the ground gives away. A cavern, a mile wide. Behind you, where you were just standing, is now just a cavernous hole beyond you. You see the great slithering tail of something impossibly large beyond your comprehension, eyes running along its flesh, hair growing from beneath plaited chitinous strands, and it disappears